Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Polity Quick Revision Series. So in this video specifically, we'll talk about the impeachment of the president. So we'll take a look at the procedure for impeachment of the president, who all are generally involved in this particular process, what kind of majority is required, and many more such interesting things. So without any further delay, let's get started.
What about impeachment? If we talk about impeachment, how is the president impeached? Has there been any president who has been impeached in India?
No, sir.
What about in the US?
Donald Trump.
Okay. So Donald Trump's time period, or his first term, I guess he had only in his first term, but a lot of his term did deal, or you would see a lot of talks about, his impeachment, right? In case you follow CNN or any of those center kind of news media channels, you will notice that it was always like calling for Donald Trump's sort of impeachment. Right, so that was that, and you would probably remember in 1998, or I believe it was 1999. I think it was 1999, 2 years before his term ended, Bill Clinton. Okay, and then somebody else very, very long ago, 1868, Andrew Johnson, things like that. Okay, so so impeachment. So let's take a look at the impeachment of the president. What exactly is the procedure? So the president can be removed from office by a process of impeachment. This impeachment is based on the reason for this thing is given as violation of constitution. But what entails the violation of constitution? That is not defined in the constitution. Okay, so that is not very clear. Okay, so violation of the constitution is the reason given. Okay, now this, can it be introduced in Lok Sabha or can it be introduced in Rajya Sabha? Answer is, excuse me, it can be by either house. So Lok Sabha can also decide to do so, and so can Rajya Sabha. However, there is a particular procedure. A lot of your Laxmikanth, that takes you a little bit of time to sort of, wrap your head around, right? That involves the procedural aspects. So it involves the procedural aspects. Okay, procedural aspects. Okay, let's take a look at what is the procedural aspect. So we said that it can be introduced in your Lok Sabha, it can be introduced in your Rajya Sabha. So these sort of charges, okay, it should be approved by 1/4 of the members of the House, right? 1/4 of the members of the House. So how does that work? So for instance, how many members do we have? So let us say that this comes about in your Lok Sabha, or if it comes about in Rajya Sabha, what will it be? Approximately, what is it, 543, something like this? Okay, depending upon how many sometimes somebody will be elected, somebody passes away, somebody might get elected and become take up another role, something like this, right? So isme se around 1/4 of this, or it would be from your 250 around 4. And after this thing, you're supposed to give 14 days notice to the president, okay, so that he or she is also sort of prepared and can understand what are the sort of charges that are being framed against me, how exactly is it that I'm going to explain my position. So after the impeachment resolution has been passed, okay, and okay, sort of like 2/3 majority, then it is sent to the other house, which will investigate the charges. So let us say Lok Sabha is the one that wants to go ahead with this. Then the investigation job is given to your Rajya Sabha. Now, that does not mean that the Rajya Sabha will do its work and the president has no right to appear or to be represented during this investigation, trying to showcase or highlight what was the president's position. No, it is not so. No, this is not what happened. No, this is why I did what I did. Right? Things like that. So the president's position, the president has a right to appear and sort of be represented. And be represented means what? Like maybe with a lawyer or something. Right? If you watch like US TV shows, you will see, in case you get arrested or you're taken into the police station, the moment you say, I want a lawyer, okay, the detectives or within the police precinct, there is nothing they can do. Okay, no more. The conversation ends, and you have to be provided your lawyer. Okay, and the lawyer will advise you, do not answer this. Okay, you can answer this. Okay, things like that. Okay, so representation. So if the other house also sustains the charges, Okay, whatever the first house said that this is, the charges that were framed, if the other house also sort of agrees with this thing and passes it with 2/3 of the majority, what happens is the president stands removed. Okay, president stands removed. Now, a couple of things are sort of important takeaways from the impeachment. See, in impeachment, who are the ones who participate in the election process of the president? Okay, and are they the same ones who are going to participate in, let us say, the impeachment of the president? So in that context, if I ask you, who are the members who participate in the election? Remember, there is an important term,
The elected members of the parliament.
Okay. When you say parliament, are you sure that it is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, wonderful. And then?
Elected members of legislative assemblies of states.
That is wonderful. But in this regard, can I ask you, you said legislative assembly. Okay. What about MLCs? Member of legislative councils? You did not mention anything about that.
They won't participate.
They will not participate. Okay. Even if that particular state has your upper house, you're saying that they will not participate. Okay, great. Okay, MLCs will not. Oh, I just opened the chat window and I see Priya says Bill Clinton as well. Okay, okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, correct. Sorry, I'll keep this open. Okay, and then finally, anything else?
The elected members of union territories, Delhi and Pondicherry.
Why not the other assemblies?
They don't have legislative assembly.
They don't have legislative assembly. What about Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh? Okay, this is another important aspect. Okay, try to learn the executive, or at least be aware of what is the executive and legislative sort of authorities in your new union territories. That is your Jammu Kashmir and your Ladakh, right? So this Article 240 subclause 2 that of the Constitution, which talks about and there are certain terms under the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act of 2019. Okay, so Union Territory of Ladakh is going to be administered by the president acting through. Okay, just keep these things in mind. Okay, Ladakh and JK. Okay, because these are sort of new and they've not been sort of quizzed yet in the exam. Okay, so you have an LG in your Ladakh and things like that. So just be aware. Okay, so here an important aspect here is that the nominated members of both the houses, okay, they will participate in the impeachment of the president when they had no role absolutely in the election process. Okay, does that sort of make sense? So the nominated members do not participate in electing, but participate in sort of removing that person. And the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the states and union territories, okay, they do not participate in the impeachment of the president. So this is only in your parliament. Okay, they don't participate. So elected members may, the other elected members. So just keep this in mind. So the nominated members of both the houses of parliament, the nominated members of the state legislative assemblies, and the members of both elected and nominated of the legislative councils, as in your MLCs, right? And the nominated members of assemblies of your Delhi and Puducherry, they do not participate in election. So what is the takeaway here? If you remember, okay, or if you do not remember, the things that you have to keep in mind are who in electing and who in rejecting. The who's. Okay, remember these. Okay, so this is something that you have to sort of keep in mind.
All right, guys, so that brings us to the close of our video. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you found the video to be useful. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the very next video.